It's Dr. E, and I'm here with your week 15, 16? I'm here with your weekly instructional video. I have been going around and around with tech issues. Lost internet, then lost sound with the internet. It's been a thing. And then I have my work. I'm on my work computer. Then I have my home computer trying to do some things in the background. So please bear with me and thank you for your patience up to this point. If I could ask for just a little bit more patience, that would be wonderful. I know you don't owe me anything, but I would appreciate it. All right. And I can't get it turned off where this follows me wherever I go. Okay. I'm showing my age. Anyhow, I'm just going to jump right into a few things on D2L. We have a somewhat straightforward week, but I want to make sure that I'm just clearly walking through everything to assuage any of your concerns and to make sure that there is just no confusion related to what's going on this week. I know there was some confusion with elements of the food journal collection, and I'll get to that in just a second, but let's go ahead and jump right into D2L so we can walk through some of this stuff. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to move my cranium out of the way a little bit. Okay, so just remember that when you log into D2L, the first thing you always want to check is the announcements area just to see if there's any update, if there's information that may be relevant for what's going on this week. So I know that there have been some on and off issues with the food journal collection materials in general. So in this announcement, I just wanted to have a place where I address that issue, but also have a direct link to the food journal collection materials in the content area. So I show you, I walk through where to go and how to find it, but you can click the link here that takes you to the specific area in our modules. Okay, so this is where everything can be located. And I put a note here and a note up here, right? Because sometimes this isn't visible unless you actually click the link, which is so frustrating. It's so very D2L. So I want to just offer a gentle reminder that in the instructional video for the food journal collection, it's a video from a previous semester that I cannot for some reason edit. I need to remake it, and I apologize. I just haven't gotten around to doing that, which is on me. It's not on you. So I understand the confusion is real. We're revising all of our previous journals, right? Which is what ended up being our food journal 3, right? We went back to our comfort food. We added Finley after that in the second food journal. And then the third food journal was bringing in an additional voice. So all I really want you to think about when kind of trying to visualize or just kind of theorize, I guess, what the food journal collection is, just think of it as an essay. No, I don't like that term. I feel like that raises our blood pressure. A piece of writing that is about you and food in some way, shape, or form. We started with comfort food because that's just an easy in, right? That's just an easy buy-in for us to be interested in what we're writing about, to not feel like, oh, this is just another writing assignment. There's a little bit of that buy-in for us. So this is a short writing piece that is about you and food, and then you're bringing in some research to support your ideas. So Finley was first, right? Trying to make a connection between your food experiences and Finley, and then you were bringing in an additional voice. It could be Amy Choi, it could have been Jennifer 8 Lee, it could have been Sean Sherman or Sam Cass, You are allowed to choose that. So what I want you to think about is just this short piece of writing that needs to be 6 paragraphs. That's about you and food, and then bringing in a little bit of research to support your ideas. Because I know some of you are going, well, I'm having a hard time tying Finley's ideas in with my own. And I get that, right? We're talking about comfort food, and then we bring in Finley, who's talking about, gardening and communities and things of that nature. But it can be about how easy or not so easy it is to access fresh produce. It can be about if you have family in your history that grew their own produce and maybe why your family has moved away from that. There are ways to get there, and sometimes we just have to be creative. And y'all, sometimes that just means talking through your ideas to somebody, whether it is emailing your ideas with me, sharing in the Q&A boards or in the student lounge area, or just talking to someone you know and saying, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing in writing. What's happening and why? Okay. Stop moving. Okay, I'm going to stop moving. So I want you to think about it that way, right? It's 6 paragraphs where you're kind of thinking about your own writing or food experiences, bringing in some outside research, and then this is it. I'm moving my hands, and that's what, okay. You're adding an additional paragraph. You have those 6 paragraphs about you and your food experiences. You're adding a paragraph to start everything off. That's the abstract paragraph that is italicized, and that's just providing some context, right? You can use it as a space to write a letter to me about your writing experience and how this process has either helped or maybe it hasn't helped because it just isn't the way that you approach writing. It can be about the revision process. Everybody's is going to look different, and that's okay. It's just giving a little bit of background about the whole collection that you're submitting. Okay. And then you're adding, of course, the works cited at the end, because when we are using outside research, we have to cite our sources. And I want you to remember that all of these materials are available, right, in D2L. So we have, of course, the food journal collection materials here, including the template, right? But if you go to the syllabus schedule and rubrics module, you have all the things, right? All the things. And so this is the food journal collection materials, which I kind of relocated from just the food journal materials. I knew that, that there's a tendency to get kind of confused about a food journal collection. So I separated those. But I also want to note that we have an MLA help module, and it has a direct link to the Purdue Online Writing Lab website, which is the kind of go-to and standard for MLA and APA in academic writing. There are also some examples about using quotes, right? And how to, utilize it's utilizing choice work as an example. But, sometimes we just need to see things like citations. Y'all, there are citations that have already been completed that are there. That's why in some emails to you or in some videos, I've been like, look in the MLA help. There are things there. I'm just saying. And all of this is to say that just because of the tech issues that I've been experiencing and because of some of the confusion back and forth about the assignment in general, I'm extending the deadline. So the due date stays the same, but the assignment will be open and available for an extended period. So just if you need to go back and rework something, you have a little bit of time. If you are still struggling to get things finished and you were already thinking of using the grace period, you have a little bit more time. I want this to be a submission that you're really proud of, that you're feeling really confident about, because it's a really big grade, right? So some of you have been emailing me about missing grades here or there, and I'm going, we need to focus on the here and now, because we have these I'm an English instructor, I'm a writing instructor, and I'm having trouble. We have 2 really large assignments in our futures, right? So we have the food journal collection and we have the multimedia project, right? So I want you to focus all your attention, all your time, all your energy in these assignments, because these will make a huge difference with your overall grade. So if you're, super stressing about a missed quiz 2 weeks ago or a missed mind map 4 weeks ago, whatever the case may be, number one, there is still a bit of time to submit bonus credit work, right? So just double check that, but only do that if you have the time, the mental energy, and all that. I really suggest we all focus on the here and now, get that food journal revised, edited, updated, submitted, resubmitted, and the multimedia project. Big grades. So that also means you need to make sure you are revisiting the guidelines and expectations. Watch those videos again, even if you've already watched the video and you feel like, yeah, I'm pretty confident about this assignment. I don't care. Just try watching it again. Something new might click. But one of the biggest things, especially with the multimedia project, is just seeing examples from past students. I feel like that really gives us a sense of, just it grounds this project in reality instead of seeming like, oh, this is too big, this is too much. Seeing past examples, I think, can really be helpful. Okay, this is not a lecture. This is me just having a little chat with you. I'm ending this portion of the chat and we're moving on. MLA help. You gotta have a grasp of MLA before moving on from this course, right? So we're working with MLA in our multimedia project, and we're working with MLA in our food journal collection. Remember, with MLA, especially when it comes to the multimedia project, we're copying and pasting our text into the text box, right? Hopefully you're going through and crafting that. You're getting Grammarly's input. You have those 3 paragraphs that are really strong and really detailed. MLA just means that you are using those in-text citations correctly, right? You're placing the period in the right place. That's something that I've noticed a lot, and I know it can be confusing. The period always goes after the parentheses, not before it. MLA is MLA. But if you are utilizing outside sources for like an informational PowerPoint, if you're pulling images from outside of your own images, those are citations that are needed. So you need to include those in your PowerPoint. We're using the text box in the multimedia project, so I know it's difficult to format, to double space and do all that. So I don't require that. The works cited or whatever you're using can be used in the PowerPoint or whatever document you're uploading, right? Just trying to address a few things, right? Okay, so if we scroll down, okay, week 16, it's this week is about our multimedia project. I'm still working on providing feedback for those projects, but that should not stop you from moving forward. I think in the past 2 semesters combined, I've found maybe 3 projects that really concerned me, and that's only because the people were maybe not taking as much time with the guidelines as needed. Your project needs to relate to food in some way and connect to at least one of our food sources in some way. Okay. That's really the problem I found is sometimes people are pulling sources that we haven't read or we haven't used. And the goal is to utilize something that we are all familiar with, we've all kind of worked with, and to put it in a new context, in a creative context, right? So your multimedia project is due on Thursday and it's in the discussion board area. And then you'll need to respond to others by Sunday. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. You're watching what will appear here. Y'all, everything to review is going to be in that syllabus schedule and rubrics module. So I'm not going to plop it down everywhere because I feel like that's just becoming a little too overwhelming. So the food journal collection, you'll see it's available until May 10th. Okay, if you need to submit, resubmit, etc. And then if we go to the multimedia project, I've laid out the guidelines. We have all the materials here. I have instructions. Y'all, people still do not follow the instructions. Please don't be that person or those people, please, right? Okay, I'm going to scroll down, and remember, you just click start a new thread. You're going to enter your name here, and then you're going to have your 3 paragraphs copied and pasted here with edits, with everything that you need. And then you are going to upload your actual creative element, or you can embed it within if you want to play around with some of these things. So if you want to insert stuff, you can do that this way. You just need to go back in and double check that everybody in the course is able to access it. So once you post it, go back in or go to the student lounge and say, hey, can you click on my PowerPoint and make sure you can see it? Or, hey, can you click on my YouTube link? Make sure you're uploading it in the right format and not in a format that cannot be opened or viewed, because I can't grade what I can't open or view, and folks can't respond to something that they can't access, right? So take some time, jump around and see all the work everybody else has done. You're required to respond to at least 5 colleagues. Find people who haven't had any responses yet, right? Don't just oh, here's the first person who posted, I'm going to respond to theirs. That's great, but spread the wealth, right? We all want to know that people have paid attention to the work we've done, not just your professor. I love grading these things. They're so much fun. All right, y'all, I'm going to let you go. Digest all this information and then reach out to me and let me know what you need. You're so close to the end. You're so close. So dig in.